Sheba at dusk. The golden palace of Sheba under a crimson sunset. Palm trees swaying. Incense smoke rising. Queen Makeda sitting regally on a throne of carved ivory, eyes focused and intense. In a land carved by gold and guided by stars, there ruled a queen whose name stirred both reverence and fear, Makeda, Queen of Sheba. Arrival of the merchant. Desert caravan entering the Sheban court. Dust trailing behind camels. A robed merchant bowing before the queen, scrolls and exotic gifts laid before her. One day, a merchant came from the north with spices, silk, and a tale. The rumor of Solomon. Flashback-style image of Solomon's palace. Gold, cedar wood, musicians playing harps, birds flying overhead, Solomon seated on his throne surrounded by scholars. He spoke of a king in Jerusalem who judged with the wisdom of the gods and built temples that breathed holiness. Makeda's decision. Queen Makeda standing before a court, intense torchlight illuminating her face as she raises a royal scepter, advisors reacting with shock and curiosity. Makeda rose. I will see this king for myself. I shall test him, not with sword, but with riddle. The long journey. A vast desert caravan moving across golden dunes under a blazing sun. Camels carrying chests of gold. Makeda riding beneath a bejeweled canopy. Her journey stretched across mountains and deserts. 1,000 miles of dust and danger. But her will did not bend. Desert campfire reflection. Makeda seated by a fire under a vast star-studded sky, speaking to a loyal guard while musicians play softly in the background. I do not seek his answers, she said. I seek his eyes. Arrival in Jerusalem. Jerusalem bustling with life. The temple shining in the distance. Crowds parting as Makeda's caravan enters the city gates. At last, Jerusalem. No walls of arrogance. Only sacred order and reverence. Solomon's introduction. Solomon standing on the steps of his palace. In simple white robes, flanked by scribes and Levites. His gaze calm and knowing. Solomon greeted her not with opulence, but with peace. Riddle of the womb. Makeda before Solomon's court, scroll in hand, as she delivers her first riddle. Solomon listens with eyes half closed, pondering. What is the womb that bears no child, yet brings life to kings? She asked. Solomon's answer. Close-up of Solomon answering confidently, gesturing toward the earth beneath his feet. The earth, Solomon answered. It bears no child, yet sustains all. The final riddle. Makeda leans forward, intensity in her eyes as she speaks her most personal riddle. The court silent with anticipation. What is more bitter than war, more binding than law, and yet invisible to all? Love's answer. Solomon's face softens, light from the temple casting golden rays behind him as he speaks gently. Love, for it commands kings, breaks warriors, and shapes destiny in silence. Walking in the garden. Solomon and Makeda walking side by side through a lush palace garden. Peacocks nearby, servants in the distance, discussing beneath fig trees. They wandered through gardens not just of flowers, but of thought, spirit, and soul. The temple revelation. Makeda standing in awe before the temple. Priests chanting in the background. Incense rising. Her eyes reflecting the fire of the altar. Solomon spoke not of gods, but God, singular, holy, and just. The final night. Candlelit banquet scene. The queen and king seated alone. Shadows dancing across the walls as they speak with quiet reverence. On their final night, he gave her no gold, but a scroll of wisdom and a ring of David. The departure. Makeda's caravan leaving at dawn. Her figure silhouetted against the rising sun. Solomon watching from a palace balcony. Legend says she left with more than wisdom, that she carried the seed of a royal line. Return to Sheba. Makeda standing before her people with open scrolls. Temples being built. A new era of justice and learning rising in the city of Sheba. She returned not just a queen, but a prophetess, planting the seeds of justice, truth, and faith. The legacy of Menelik. Fast forward to a young prince, Menelik, crowned under an Ethiopian sky, elders watching with pride as a new dynasty begins. From their meeting would come Menelik, the boy who would carry David's blood into the highlands of Ethiopia. Scrolls and legends, ancient scrolls being unrolled on a wooden table. Maps of Sheba and Israel beside each other. Golden dust motes floating in sunbeams. History remembers kings who conquered, but this was a king and queen who connected. Montage of Solomon writing Proverbs. Makeda ruling in Sheba, the temple bathed in morning light, and the desert winds sweeping across ancient stones. In Solomon and Sheba, the world saw something rare, a wisdom that crossed borders, a faith that crossed bloodlines, and a legacy that crossed centuries. Their story is more than a tale of royalty. It's a reminder that wisdom knows no borders, and that when truth meets humility, nations can be transformed. If this story stirred something in you, share it. Let the world remember that even in ancient times, the pursuit of truth united hearts. This was the story of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba.